Only a few more weeks until we stop hearing political ads on TV, radio, and every YouTube video we watch. But listen, we get it. Voting is important. However, not every vote in pop culture carries the same weight. In this episode of the show, we look at voting in everything from music to comics to cereal and more. Cast your ballots for the best nostalgia show in the world. This is Wayback Attack.
Welcome to Wayback Attack. My name is Brian Grantham, and sitting across from me in his polling place in the internet is Preston Burt. Preston, are you ready to cast your vote?
I am. I'm casting the winning vote for whatever we are voting on tonight. I like to be the deciding factor in any conversation we have. So, are you ready?
I was born ready, baby. I actually, it's funny because what's your earliest memory of voting? I'm not going to get right into everything right now, but this to me, it's funny because this has always stood out to me. So,
man, you know, I'm sure there was some sort of class nomination for like a class officer, like class president or something like that. But I really don't remember specifics of it.
Okay.
And, I organized some voting stuff when I was a teenager in high school, but I wasn't yet eligible to vote. So, when you can't legally vote for like a major political thing until you're 18, all those early memories kind of just fall by the wayside. Do you have a specific memory?
I do. So, I have no idea how old I was. I had to probably be like 5 or 6. And I specifically remember going with my mom so that she could vote for some election and hanging out in with closing the curtain behind her. And I remember she was wearing a dress and I was just sitting there next to her, standing there while she was punching her holes into the ballots. And she showed me how everything was done and stuff like that. And so I'm hoping to carry on that same tradition. On Thursday, I'm going to go early vote, and I'm going to take my kids with me, and I think it'll go well. So, but I just, it's funny how after all these years, I still remember that specific situation that I was in.
Yeah, we took our kids last time we voted in the presidential election, and I think they tag along with us to the primary here, but I don't know if they'll remember it because they, who knows? But
Right.
At least we're trying to model some good behavior for them. But I will say that I do remember casting my vote in some other stuff that's non-political, and that's the kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about tonight on the show. Things in pop culture that were anybody was able to cast a vote for, and most of the stuff is pretty mundane, pretty silly. But I hope it brings back some good memories for all of our listeners and watchers.
Yes.
But before we get into that, let's catch up a little bit. I was away for a while. I went on a little breather of a vacation, and I came back to something fun in the mail, and I think you did too.
Oh yeah.
So we can talk about some more stuff in a little bit, but I wanted to show off this package that I got in the mail. Oh, and don't show my address there. And here we go. So it's a big big white envelope, and it is from Animation Legends. Now, if we have astute viewers who check out Wayback on the reg, they may have seen and heard you talk about this company before. Brian, give us a rundown of Animation Legends one more time.
Yeah. So, Instagram, so I guess theoretically Instagram has the best ads. It's the only real online advertisement that I'm ever oh, look at that thing. I do want to buy that thing, right? And I kept
They've got you pegged, bro.
I know, it's so good. I kept getting these ads for Animation Legends, and I was like, man, there's no way. Of course, I clicked on it to see how much they cost, and I was like, there's no way this is legit because it's so cheap. These animation cells are so cheap, and like for like $20, you can get 3 animation cells. And then they have different packs, like, 5, 10, stuff like that, right? And so because I didn't believe how cheap it was, I watched some videos on YouTube. I Googled it just to see, hey, is this like a legit thing? I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought the got a 3-pack of Street Fighter, and I was very happy with what I got. And I'll show this off just real quick while I'm explaining this. So you do not know what you're getting when you order these. So you are getting a basically a grab bag, right? But they do guarantee at least one a cell in a pack of 3. So
an A cell would be a cell that has a main character prominently featured on the cell.
Yes. So my pack for Street Fighter, I would assume, I guess that this would technically be my A cell. So it's a good thing of Ken, a good cell of Ken being surprised. I'm pretty sure I know what episode this is from. I went back and sorry about that. I went back and found what I think it's from. I also got an awesome picture of Akuma. I do know what episode this is from. This is Akuma fighting his brother, and then I'm pretty sure I know what this other cell is from as well. This is one of Cammy's, the elite group that Cammy is from. This is one of those people from that elite group, and I'm pretty sure I know what episode that's from. Also, stuck to my Ken was this. They kind of have like, well, I guess you're not really going to be able to see this one that well. So it's
production in between cells.
Yes, and so so they flip it up while they're drawing or painting or whatever to like see, and so man, I was so happy with it. These cells, they have like on them they have the reference. Well, you definitely can't see that. They have references to like for the animators for like, hey, what scene is this from? What sequence is this in, and that kind of thing. So I was really happy with that. Part of buying into Animation Legends is they notify you first when they pop up a new listing, and so I got that pop up one day while I was at work, and I shot Preston the thing over because I knew that he would be excited about this.
I think I specifically told you, let me know when this comes up for sale.
Yes. And so I did, and you and I both ordered it. I haven't opened mine yet because I figured I would do like an unboxing thing, and so everybody can be so excited about my animation cells.
Well, I cheated. I already looked at mine. I couldn't wait. So I'm going to show mine. I got 10 animation cells of the real Ghostbusters cartoon. I think it was like $50. So, I mean, $5 a cell? That's crazy. And you're guaranteed a certain number. So here's what you get. It comes in that big white envelope, the thick cardboard mailer. And it was not unscathed. So there was some damage here, but my cells were okay. They come in a poly bag, Ziploc thing, with another little piece of like poster board, and then they come with a certificate of authenticity, which is helpful for all of them collectively. But I realized that if I were to sell any one of these, it is not very helpful to
it also
carry
means
with.
Nothing. The certificate of authenticity is from the place you're buying it from, and so it's not like from like a reputable
Sotheby's.
Right. Mm-hmm.
All right,
I can give you a certificate of authenticity for the show.
Let's see what we got here. All right. And I'll try to be mindful of all of our listeners to the show, because I know we got a lot of you that don't actually watch it, just listen to it. So here we have a great shot of Ray and Egon. And this one has the paper sketch backing adhered to it. And Brian, I tried to pull like you did, but it was It is not happening on this one. So this one lives with this cell permanently.
Hey, it's got a background.
Yeah. All right. Then we've got a weird little monster thing. And I'm sure, let me hold him up against the white.
It's called a ghost.
Whatever it is. I don't know what episode it's from, but I'm sure we could figure it out. I got a pretty good one here of Peter Venkman just kind of walking, strutting his stuff, saying hello, saying what's up. The only thing that stinks about it is it's kind of small on the cell. I got a really good one, a really, really good one of some really bad character. It's like an old grandma character. Don't know what's up with that.
That is really good, though.
It's like solid. Like if she was the main character, this would be a boss cell.
Yeah, man, that's funny too because she's holding a teddy bear. I want to know her story now.
Okay, now this is where people might start getting jealous. I bet this is not classified as an A cell, but this is gnarly on its own. Check this out. Check out this ghost, this monster. It's like a bunch of mouths with a bunch of tentacles on it. It looks pretty gnarly. I'm down with it.
It looks like it's also like climbing on top of something or something like that. There's like a cutout bar or something.
Yep. And then, okay, I've got two main characters here. Here is Egon tucking in something.
I bet it's that old lady.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, covering that up. Somebody's getting tucked into bed.
That looks like that old lady's bed.
It does. And then I've got a really good one here of Peter Venkman, who just got slimed. And then the coup de resistance, the piece de resistance, rather, is Slimer. I bet you got some Slimers, too, because Slimer is everywhere in the Ghostbusters cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
I got three shots of Slimer, increasing in size. So here's a kind of a mid-animation Slimer, tiny.
Look at that spud.
I got this is a great pose of Slimer, kind of timidly, a little bit bigger than the last one.
I can picture he's going like
yeah, before he like runs away and hides. And then this is a great one if it were just a slightly better face, but it's super big on the page. Here's Slimer. Looks like he's squeezing out a fart or something. I don't know. So those are my 10 Ghostbusters animation cells. I got those for $50. I plan on putting a few in my antiques booth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'll come out to where basically I probably don't, keep the ones I want for free, and the rest will just recoup my money. So
yeah, sell them for $10 a pop, and then you can use that as a way to build more cell collecting.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
Brian, what did you get?
So part of my reason for wanting to do this is because I think it'll be interesting. You and I ordered our orders very close together. So whoops, that's the wrong person. So I wanted to see if our cells are close in nature. So I'm going to go ahead and open them. And here we go. Ooh, that was satisfying.
Wow! Listen to that Foley effect. That's beautiful.
All right, now I guess my pack or my envelope is like bent on one corner, but it's pretty good. Oh man, I got a good one. All right. All right. So, of course mine comes with the same stuff. Man, this one has a bunch of papers in it that are kind of aged.
Yeah. I was surprised I didn't get more based on the fact that they stick so easily.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, certificate of authenticity, my order pack. All right, let's see. We'll use this. Oh man, this is great. This looks like some kind of like a leprechaun or something maybe. He's got like
it's called a ghost, Brian.
He looks more Scottish. He's got like a Scottish cap and a pipe. Oh, yeah, so he is Scottish because I also have, oh man, there's a really good one in here. I also have an Egon wearing a kilt.
So I got the grandma episode and you got the Scottish episode.
Yeah. Well, I also got this Yeah, this next. Oh no, these are two different cells. I was gonna say, man, this next one has two people on it for some reason. All right, so, oh my goodness. Okay, so this is interesting. So there's two cells, but they go together. So, so like in animation, they a lot of times will just have like a mouth that moves or something like that, and like it'll just be a face with like a painted out mouth, and then they're animating just the mouth. I assume that this is something similar to that because it is a ghost, but the head comes off and the body is still. So I don't know. Maybe there's something cool with that. I feel like I did not get any. Oh, okay. Never mind. I got some good ones. All right. All right.
You were just talking about I got some good ones, and now you're like, I don't think I got any good ones.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like I didn't have a lot of Ghostbusters, but okay. So I got some kind of mobster ghost. He's pretty cool looking. And then he has like the art also on the back for that. I got a Venkman it's kind of almost like a top-down shot thing of him
falling
like,
through space. What is he?
No,
Oh, you're staring down at him.
Yeah, he's searching for something in his pocket.
That's pretty solid though. I like that one.
I got a Janine doing the Egyptian dance.
There's your winner right there. It doesn't get better than that.
And it also, it's awesome too because the paper behind it, she has more of a satisfied face, so that's cool. I don't know who this is. I'm assuming that this is, I don't know. I guess this is Venkman maybe as a superhero.
Oh, dude,
it's a big one.
Look at that cod piece.
This one's pretty cool. Oh wow! So I got this cool looking guy in a hooded robe. He's like a ghost that's pretty looks all knowing. This one's chock full of Venkmans. Actually, this is probably the best one. It's a Hawaiian shirt Venkman.
Oh, casual. Yeah, it's casual Friday Venkman right there.
The paint on this one though, like there's no chipping at all. Some of these have like some chipping on them, but that one doesn't. And then this is a further away shot of that hooded ghost. It looks like he's holding a bag and then like maybe a flute. So there we go.
Is that all 10 of yours?
Yeah, I didn't count them, but that's all of them.
So, dude, you got some cool ones in there, but I'm gonna have to say, I think I came out on top with my variety.
Maybe I'll trade you something for a Slimer.
I will definitely. I'll take you up on that offer since I have 3 and you have none.
So every month they release new shows, and they are going to revisit some shows that they have previously sold out of. And
I know I was so bummed. I did not even think it would come close to selling out. I thought I would order at the same time one of these other ones popped up, but Street Sharks gone.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I tried to get it and it said sold out.
Wow. I am hoping like as soon as Captain N pops back up, I'm going to be all over that one, and I'm hoping I just get a full-faced Mother Brain. That is my goal. So
we are not shilling for Animation Legends, just sharing with you guys. They're not a sponsor of the show.
No. If they want to sponsor us, I'm fine with that.
Oh, I'm fine with it too. But I'll tell you who is a sponsor of the show, and that's a project near and dear to my heart, and that is Retrofied Magazine. I'm sure you heard on the last episode of the show, we have a brand new Retro Nostalgia magazine out in the ether. The first issue number 0 preview is available to download or is available to view online right now. You can flip through the magazine, every single page. It's 52 pages of awesomeness, of retro content. And it's got a little bit of Halloween stuff. It's got a mask feature article. It's got a little bit of everything. But you can check that out right now at retrofiedmag.com. But if you want even more good stuff, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/retrofiedmag. And you can sign up for one of our 3 different levels. And you can get a downloadable copy, PDF, of the magazine, plus some perks, some behind-the-scenes concept art, some additional imagery that we weren't allowed to include in our magazine. And then we're shooting for a goal. We are a quarter of the way there right now. Once we get 100 subscribers, or 100 patrons on our account, we are going to do a print run of the magazine. So if you want to hold a physical copy of a retro nostalgia magazine, go ahead and subscribe at any level on our Patreon account, and hopefully we can get those printed out and have the retro feel of flipping through a magazine in your home at your leisure. So thank you to Retrofied Mag for sponsoring the show. And hey, you know another good sponsor, Brian?
Who?
Well, that's our friends over at Movie Spree from Mill Creek Entertainment. You may recognize Mill Creek Entertainment as the home entertainment industry's leading independent studio for Blu-ray, DVD, and digital distribution, and the folks behind Blu-rays of fine genre flicks like Hard Ticket to Hawaii and the newest Ultraman releases. But did you know Mill Creek Entertainment also owns and operates Movie Spree, an on-demand streaming service offering movie bundles, complete TV series, and premium entertainment options with apps available on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android, and iOS? Wow. And now you can get 100 free movies just for signing up for Movie Spree. Think of it as your own personal video vault starter kit. From action to comedy, romance, and horror, there's something for everyone in this free bundle. Wayback Attack listeners can head over to moviespree.com/redeem and enter the code MovieSpree100FREE to get started absolutely free. That's MovieSpree100FREE to get started and get 100 free movies from Movie Spree. Cast your vote for retro goodness. That's moviespree.com. And if you remember on a previous show, we gave away an animation bundle from Movie Spree. The fine folks at Movie Spree have another giveaway for us to offer to our listeners, and that is 31 Nights of Fright. So that is a collection of 31 movies, perfectly timed for Halloween. We got several days to get in some late night watching before the spook hour. And 31 Nights of Fright is creeping with ghosts, monsters, demons, sharks, spiders, and more. This whole hair-raising collection is available to purchase so you can watch it whenever you crave a dreadful fright. But you don't have to purchase it if you win our giveaway. Movies include such illustrious hits as Attack of the Monsters, House on Haunted Hill, Zombie Shark. Who could forget Zombie Shark? Attack of the Giant Leeches. And if Zombie Shark wasn't enough, Ghost Shark is there to answer any questions you may have.
That's his brother.
Yeah. So we thought we'd give away this collection. I've got at least two, but we will have two winners. And what we're going to ask you to do is hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, preferably Twitter because Facebook sucks. But hit us up and share a picture of you and your voting sticker. All right. We got a whole episode devoting to voting. We want to rock the vote. We want to get people out there voting. So show us that you voted, and we'll give that away to one or two lucky winners, maybe more. Thanks again to Movie Spree for the gracious donation.
Yes, thank you so much. And which House on Haunted Hill do you think that is? Because
I think this is the Vincent Price one.
Okay, cool. I think, hey, you know what? Zombie Shark and Ghost Shark and Attack of the Giant Leeches, those sound like fun movies. That sounds like something that would be similar to like Birdemic. Whenever I hear Zombie Shark, though, I immediately think of that Italian zombie movie where the zombie fights the shark. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh man, I'll have to show it to you sometime. Like just that scene, it's crazy. It's like a zombie underwater fighting a real shark. While like you have to check it out. This is an old, like probably in the 70s when they could get away with weird things on movies. So,
we've got a few. You know that should get folks in the mood for Halloween. Go check out moviespree.com and see what else they have to offer. That set, in case I didn't make it clear, it's 31 different movies. I only listed a few of the gems available for you to watch. Are you getting in the Halloween spirit of things, Brian?
I am. Paige just decorated the house. She got this really awesome skull that we did not have last year that has color changing LED inside of it, and so like it changes from like red to blue to yellow and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man. So I need to grab. I have like a Scary Sounds vinyl, and I need to go through and look and see. You know, I talked about how I think I did it on one of our pinball streams. I talked about how I was wanting to. Oh no, it was last episode when I showed off the Namco Museum record. So I was looking for that Ninja Gaiden record, and I found out today that the one that I have sells for like $600 on eBay, like selling prices.
Bro, that needs to go on eBay stat.
I'm in such a tough spot because I really like the record, but I haven't listened to it probably in at least over a year. And so how do you know, it's only going to go up in value. There's no, like, they're not going to make more. Yeah, because they're not going to make more. And so,
yeah, but is the demand for this record going to continue? I don't know, Brian. $600 is pretty good.
I know. And I can, you know, like, I could do a lot with $600 right now, but I could also listen to Ninja Gaiden soundtrack.
You can do that on Spotify, dude. Look,
Yeah.
I just sold a VHS tape with 3.5 hours of Toonami cartoons on it.
Mm-hmm.
To be sold as blank, mind you. I mean, we're not talking, you know, I'm no copyright infringement here. I'm selling the VHS tape so that you can record over it, obviously.
Right. Mm-hmm.
On eBay for $90, dude.
That's crazy.
This is it. People throw this stuff away, but other people spend $90 on 3.5 hours of cartoons from Toonami. So
I have a VHS tape of nothing but Japanese TV. That's like, it is literally just set to record from, like, one of my friends. He was Japanese, and he used to do that for me when he went home. He would just record it and give it to me because at the time I was really into anime, and so I couldn't understand what anyone said. But it's tons of just Japanese commercials. I bet somebody would want that.
That's awesome. Well, I know it's October, and so people may have been hoping that we would do a spooky show. We're going to get to that in next episode. It's going to be a big build-up because next episode happens to be not only our Halloween-themed episode, but also our 1-year anniversary show. So we have a lot of surprises in store. Hope you continue to check out the show and listen to that one here in 2 weeks on Tuesday, Twitch at 10, or the following Wayback Wednesday when we launch it on the podcast apps. But tonight, we're putting the scary things aside. Well, I guess it's scary if you continue to look at it this in a certain light, but we're going to be talking about voting in pop culture. Let's get into it with Rock the Vote.
The First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech. The First Amendment gives you the right to choose what you hear, what you say, and what you think. Express yourself. Vote.
All right, so for my first highlight this evening, I wanted to highlight the thing that probably most of us remember from our youth, and I think it's still a campaign that's going on today, and that is Rock the Vote. So Rock the Vote first came to the airwaves in 1990 when it was founded by record executive Jeff Ayeroff, and that was Iggy Pop, I forgot to mention. So that was a video featuring Iggy Pop. But this campaign over the years has featured so many different musicians trying to highlight the need to vote. There was one great commercial with Aerosmith that I wanted Brian to play, but the audio on it was just so screechingly bad it didn't work. But it's, you know, it's rock stars trying to be in your face, trying to be provocative. Check out the Aerosmith one on YouTube if you get a second. But you know, this is a big campaign. Do you remember this, Brian?
I do. You know, this time period was probably when I watched MTV the most. You know, this would have been like around the time of like Beavis and Butthead and, you know, Ren and Stimpy and that kind of, you know, those kind of shows were on there. And so, yeah, I definitely remember these going on. And I feel like, didn't they do something like a Farm Aid or, you know, stuff like that too? Like, didn't they? I feel like they did a Rock the Vote concert also.
They may have. I don't recall specifically, but now that you mention it, that does seem familiar. So I would not be surprised. I mean, with all the talent pledging together for this effort, you'd think that they probably would do something to benefit that as well. So I wouldn't be surprised. But whether or not they did that, they did have a lot of firsts. So like I said, it started in 1990, but in 1996, Rock the Vote, they created the first telephone voter registration system. I mean, that seems so commonplace now, but it's funny to believe that Rock the Vote with, Iggy Pop and whoever. I saw a video from D-Light. Do you remember that? Groove in the Heart people? They were part of it too. So D-Light, Iggy Pop, they were fronting an organization that did the first telephone voter registration system, 1-800-REGISTER. I don't know if it's still live today. Maybe check it out, 1-800-REGISTER, see if it works. And then they are also responsible for the first online voter registration system called NetVote later that year, 1996. Early adopters. So
I just want to put this out there. If you call that number and it's a bad number, that's not our fault. So
you're choosing to you're voting for disappointment with that call is what you're probably doing.
It's so funny because, every single app or website that I visit right now has at the top, are you registered to vote? Hey, click right here. You can register to vote. Register to vote right here. And so, that's, I think that it's interesting how MTV was a great gateway into getting the youth of America more engaged with democracy. And so, like, you see the carryover from that into every app that everyone's using nowadays. So I think that's really cool.
We're going to get into some silly voting stuff, but this Rock the Vote is actually for a true voter registration drive for politics, for American government, and it was a problem then. It's still a problem today where there's just inactive voters. I saw a graphic where Texas last year. Or last election, something like 48% of eligible voters didn't cast a ballot.
That's crazy.
So that's pretty insane. I hope that is reduced a lot this year. But I also wanted to mention, even though we're talking Rock the Vote, which aired on MTV, it wasn't necessarily MTV's Rock the Vote. You just kind of associate it. But MTV did actually have another campaign called the Choose or Lose campaign. It was a multimedia campaign aired in 1992 to educate potential voters. So they have you can check out the videos online where they talk about what's a caucus and what are all these different terminologies to political phrases and stuff. And their campaign, they won a Peabody Award, and it helped contribute. You can't totally show that this is the sole contributor, but it contributed to that year's largest youth turnout since 1976. So in more than 20 years. So it's cool that all this awareness is happening and they're targeting the young people, because young people are the ones that need to get out and register.
Yeah, it's really important because no matter how you vote, making sure that I think so many people just take for granted, or not even that. Maybe they just feel like it's useless, like their vote doesn't matter or whatever. But it's those people that are missing out on their civic duty. This is your only chance to really have a say in the way that our government is formed, and so or runs. And so I think if you're able to get younger people into voting, once they register and they vote, I would like to see the drop off from people that have voted that stopped voting, and see how those numbers correlate to engagement with voting with people that are voting and then continue to vote. Because I'm willing to bet once you vote the first time, I find it hard to believe that you would ever just be I'm not going to vote anymore. So if you've gotten to that point, at that point, all you have to do is show up someplace and hit a thing. So
well, if you remember the Rock the Vote campaign, shoot us a message and share us your favorite celebrity that rocked the vote, maybe what inspired you to sign up to vote. But that's probably the only one we'll talk about that has real world relevance. Now we're going to move on to the important stuff.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about the Tick, because the Tick is he's my voting hero. So when I was a kid, I was really into the series. NEC Press is the publishing house for this comic, and they were best known for their highly successful and popular black and white series. And the Tick was one of these series, and it kills me to know that I had this episode or this issue of The Tick. It was the first issue, and I colored it. I colored it all in.
Oh no!
with colored pencils. It was awesome, and it would probably be worth something to today if I didn't do it. But so, anyways, the company grew during the 80s and early 90s. They got a pretty rabid fan base for The Tick here, and his popularity kept growing, and it eventually grew out into cartoons and TV shows and that kind of thing. But during that time, they decided, hey, you know what? We're not going to just do black and white comics anymore. We're going to start doing color. And so they started the new series called Chromatic. And basically, Chromatic, people were excited because, you didn't have to color in all the comics anymore. They they were already colored for you. So, but anyways, these, the Chromatic series, they wound up being a little bit thicker. Ben Edlund, the guy that wrote The Tick, he started doing kind of like Marvel did at the time, where they would have like an editor's corner or creator's corner, and he would respond to things and that kind of thing. But how does The Tick relate to voting? So I'm pretty sure I had all three. I know for sure I had one of these variant covers, but issue 4 of Chromatic was had a regular cover and then 3 variants. And so the issue was The Tick attended a swank dinner party hosted by the parents of Oedipus. Meanwhile, the party is surrounded by the menacing menace of the ninja hedge. The ninja battle heats up when Sajin the wolf enters the fray and the search for the all-powerful. And this issue featured The Tick, Arthur, and Paul the Samurai. Paul the Samurai was awesome because he hid his sword in a baguette, and he would always draw it out. Like anytime someone threatened him or like looked at him funny or he got mad, he would always pull a samurai sword out. But samurai swords have to taste blood before you sheath them, so he had cuts all over his fingers wherever he always had to cut himself. But the variant covers of this issue were 3 different ones relating to the current political presidential campaign election that was going on. So they did 3 different covers. One that says Bush reelected in upset, Perot wins in shocker, and Clinton land by a landslide. And then underneath it says batting a 1,000. So because they were going to be 100% right on whichever one it was. So I know I had the Perot one because I have a memory of sitting in my theater teacher's house, and I don't even know what we were doing, but I had that issue with me because I thought Ross Perot was so funny of a person. And so I specifically remember having that issue. But have you ever read a Tick comic before, Preston?
I think I did. I was big into indie comics in the 90s. Mm-hmm. So I probably wasn't exposed to the Tick until it was a cartoon, but afterwards I'm sure I checked out a Tick comic book. I don't think I saw any of the black and white ones like you did ahead of time. But black and white comics, we've talked about them before, especially the independents in the 80s. There were a bunch of them that were just cheaply made black and whites. Mm-hmm. I think I gave away Fat Man. That was a black and white comic. But no, I didn't remember this for the Tick.
It was cool too because that was the first. I mean, you have to think the age. That was like the first time I remembered like the family watching like the political debates and, like everything leading up to the election. And so, it was like that election was like a big deal, and it was cool that like my favorite superhero at the time was a part of it or whatever. So
yeah, it was a big deal for me too. I was 12, so it was kind of like the first time I was really aware of the process, and mm-hmm. I'm sure they had all these kind of voting things in school where you could do mock elections and stuff. I remember, why I remember most of this though, honestly, is because of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the way they had Phil Hartman as Bill Clinton, mm-hmm. and Ross Perot by Dana Carvey.
Mm-hmm.
He did Bush and Perot. Mm-hmm. And I remember them making fun of his big ass charts all the time. I've got my buddy, I think it's my buddy Shannon. He's got a story where he just straight up called Ross Perot one time. Like, which I forget which company he worked for, but he was the head of this big corporation, and he just called the number and said, "I'd like to speak to Mr. Perot, please." And they put him through.
You just have to be like, I'm Dr. So and so, and I need to speak to Mr. Perot, please. And they're like, "Oh yes, immediately." Yeah. So the Tick is a crazy guy, but I wouldn't say that he is as cuckoo as this next one.
What do kids want this election year?
We want chocolate money.
I'll make donkey money. How about elephant money?
We want chocolate money.
And if you vote for me, I'll put some in Cocoa Puffs really soon. Kids, if real chocolate money's what you want, you can vote for Sunny on special boxes of Cocoa Puffs, the chocolatey part of a good breakfast, or at youruleschool.com. Enough votes and Sunny will put free chocolate coins in upcoming boxes of Cocoa Puffs. A vote for me is a vote for
Chocolate money.
So this commercial, I didn't remember it. This came out in 2000, obviously, around the 2000 election. But this came off that VHS tape I just sold on eBay. So thank you. It's given in more ways than one. So what I loved about this, and I shared this on Twitter, is I love that they're centering it around elections, but Sonny's main platform is that he will bribe you with chocolate coins. I don't know how that's not a winning strategy today, right?
I know that, man. I would probably vote for whatever candidate gave me chocolate money, because when I was a kid, I loved chocolate money. That was the best.
The little gold coins, yeah, they're so cool. It's like you felt like you were a Goonie and you discovered One-Eyed Willie's private treasure, but then you could also eat his private treasure. So, yeah, that was a little after my time. Like I said, 2000. But I wanted to lead into with that one because I bet a lot of people hadn't seen that before, due to its age. But voting in cereal is nothing new. In 2016, the General Mills had the Monsters voting 2016, or you could choose your favorite Monster cereal, Boo Berry, Count Chocula, Frankenberry. Going even back way further, in 1976, they had their first vote for kids on the back of the cereal box to choose whether or not should the rabbit eat Trix. Spoiler alert, they voted for him to be able to eat the Trix. Well, I guess they forgot that happened, or they were just banking on a new generation of kids. So they gave a new generation of kids that same hard decision during a Trix race.
I've tried everything. I'll never get to taste Trix with lime green puffs. Tour de Trix bicycle race. Winner receives silver bowl of Trix. A fruity, delicious part of a complete breakfast. Wow! So many people racing for Trix. They must realize that Trix with lime green is really fruity.
Bikers up! The Italians are in the lead, but the French are right behind them.
I'll never catch them. Yeah! What a lift! Fruity Trix, I can taste it. Au revoir! Ciao! Lemony yellow, here I come. Orangey orange, I'm halfway there. Grapefruity purple, they're slowing down. Raspberry red, I'm getting ahead.
They're wheel to wheel, and the rabbit wins by an ear.
Lime green, I'm the winning team.
Yes, the rabbit wins the trick.
But Trix are for kids.
I say he gets it.
I say he's a rabbit.
Kids, you can decide. Does the rabbit get the silver bowl of Trix? We need your vote. Ballots on boxes of Trix.
Please vote yes.
So forget about real politics. Deciding whether or not the Trix rabbit finally got a bowl of cereal was maybe the most important decision we've ever made in our lives.
I am impressed by the money spent on that commercial. It's a minute-long ad. That's a long time.
That is crazy long.
They used, this is 1991, right? They used CG animation in that, like for the trophy and stuff like that the box of cereal is in. I'm surprised by the amount of money that they spent on that commercial ad.
Yeah, the fact that it's a minute alone speaks to some novelty, because cereal commercials were a dime a dozen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen a minute-long cereal commercial before. But it was important. I mean,
Yes.
this rabbit has been trying to get after this cereal for years. He finally won the race to win, and they're still casting doubt on whether or not he was deserving enough. So leave it to the kids. And dear listener, if you were wondering, let's find the solution. What happened?
Remember when the rabbit won the race? But does he get the tricks?
The kids voted yes! Just this once. The rabbit wins the tricks, the fruity, delicious part of a complete breakfast.
Wow! Lemony yellow, orangey orange, grapey purple, raspberry red, and lime green. All for me!
I'll never be the same.
Now Trix has 5 more fruity colors. You can get a free roll of Lifesavers in specially marked boxes of Trix.
So
there's a good trivia question for you. If you're ever asked, did the Trix Rabbit ever get to eat the cereal? The answer is yes, at least twice.
Mm-hmm. This is not a Mandela effect, right? They did do at that time in 92, 91, whenever, at that time Trix were just little colored balls. But they did have fruit-shaped Trix at some point, right?
Yes, that was that. It transitioned to those in the 90s.
Okay, I couldn't remember if that
Far
was a Mandela
inferior.
effect or if it was. Oh, really? You think that's worse than balls?
Yeah, they also kind of changed the texture too. So like, original Trix were more like kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when they went to the fruit shape, it became not quite as bad, but like the monster cereal texture now, right? Like Frankenberry, it's like a little too puffed, kind of cheap. That's what I think they moved to when they changed the formula of Trix from the balls to the fruit shapes.
Interesting.
So there's a little bit of trivia for you. I bet you didn't know that or remember that. But people have been voting for a lot of different things: cereal, junk food, candy. So check out this other one for junk food. Did you remember that we voted for a new color for M&Ms?
In America today, an important national election is taking place, and your vote can make a difference. Pink, purple, blue. Vote for the new M&M's color and give America's chocolate a brighter future.
Listen, kids, I don't know if your parents are making you to listen to this podcast along with them in the car, but believe it or not, there was a time when we did not have blue M&Ms. No, they only exist. You're welcome because we demanded it.
Yes. What's crazy too is like, back when we were kids, M&Ms were just earth tones, and Paige is playing some game on her phone where you have to there's like a thing, and one of the questions was, what are the original colors of M&Ms? And so I pulled out clutch answer for that one. But yeah, like M&Ms nowadays, like none of those colors seem strange nowadays as M&Ms, just because there's so many different varieties of them, different holiday packs and stuff like that. So I mean, that could just be the Valentine's Day bag of M&Ms for all I know.
Yeah, and you got the red and green ones for Christmas, and you got the Easter ones. But back in the day, man, you had yellow, green, and brown, and that was it.
Yep.
The end. So I remember voting in that one. And my pick one, I wanted to vote. I think if it were ran again today, purple might win.
Oh, I would vote for blue 100%.
It's an in color.
I think, I don't remember. I don't know. I used at some point this year, I knew what the official color of the year was, and I don't remember now. So,
listeners, viewers, if any of this has jogged a memory in you of other like snack foods or junk foods that had voting contests in popular culture, please share, because I remember them. I remember more of them happening, but I don't remember the specifics. Like, I was racking my brain for specific examples, and these were the ones that I could remember and find. But I know there's so much more. So please email us or hit us on social media and tell us some of the other ones we may have missed.
Yeah, and it's interesting how they did the same thing with Trix, where they did a a voting ad campaign. And then at M&M's, they wind up, it seems like this is just like the easy out. Like, hey, every 4 years we have a free ad campaign.
Ask what your chocolate can do for you.
Vote on one issue this election. Me.
Boys, it's all about working the polls.
Where do I stand on the issues? Right here.
When I said I would run, I meant away.
Vote for your favorite M&M's character at MMS.com and you can win $50,000.
Do you think that's a double entendre for the green M&M?
Yes, definitely. When was that? I don't know when that one aired, but it looked pretty modern. 2010.
Mm-hmm. The
cool.
I think I knew, because I think we've talked about it before, but the guy that does Fry on Futurama, is that DiMaggio?
Billy West.
Billy West. Okay. He so it like that. There is no other time that the red M&M sounds more like Fry than in that commercial.
You're right. All right. So moving away from junk food, we're going to the pages.
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of to the pages.
Oh, that's right.
So the the political side of comic books has always been a big thing. And in most political campaigns there's a clear hero and a clear villain. And I think that the Caped Crusader has been a great inspiration for everyone.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Station KGOM is very happy and proud to bring you a debate between the candidates who are running for mayor of Gotham City. I believe the Penguin will lead off the debate.
Friends and fellow citizens, I want to give you my solemn word that there will be no mudslinging in this campaign, unless, of course, my opponent slings it. But I intend to stick to the issues. Now, what are the issues? There is only one. Batman. Who is he? Who is this acrobatic clown who somersaults around Gotham City in a ridiculous costume? I suggest that behind that mask, Batman is, in reality, a dangerous criminal.
All right, so the Penguin in this episode, this is from, the Batman 66. It's from season 2. It's actually a 2-part episode, 17 and 18. Starts off, there's a blind newspaper salesperson. He's getting robbed by some street thug. The Penguin jumps out of a car, pulls out a boxing glove umbrella, bops the guy in the face, and saves the newspaper man because he wants to clean up the streets of Gotham. He runs for mayor. People start backing him because they hear about this good deed. And it's really funny because, everybody knows in Gotham that the Penguin is a villain, but because he did this one good deed, people just kind of forget all the bad things that he did. The Mayor Linseed, he's down the polls. He's running for re-election, and he asked Batman to run as mayor, and then he'll be his deputy mayor because Batman is surely the only person in Gotham that would be able to beat the Penguin in an election because, man, the people really love the Penguin. Have you ever seen this episode, Preston?
Dude, I cannot remember any one specific Batman 66 episode. It's probably one of those things where when you look back, I'm sure you don't have the statistic handy, but like they probably only had maybe 45 episodes and they just aired them on repeat all the time.
I have every episode on my Plex server. There's a pretty good bit of episodes, but really the reason that there's so many is because they started doing this during like the 2nd and 3rd seasons. They would do like 2 episodes back to back. And so there's a lot of episodes because of that. I've seen I have seen every episode of Batman 66. I used to watch it, I think, on the Family Channel when I was a kid. And I used to have this big traced dinosaur footprint from like the Museum of Science and Industry, and in it I would write down like, oh, today's episode was about King Tut, and I would run in the back and write King Tut's name and like Mr. Freeze, and like I wrote all the villains' names like inside the dinosaur footprint. But anyways, so it's really funny to watch this episode. If you have the ability, check out these episodes, because the Penguin, the way he runs his campaign is something that you would see today. So the Penguin says that he wants to give the voters of the city the kind of campaign they want. No politics. Issues confuse people. He wants to give a big smile, handshakes, and a big campaign song. That's the way to win an election. And of course, Batman wants to run on the issues because he actually cares about the city. And he says that he's convinced an American electorate is too mature to be taken in by cheap vaudeville trickery. After all, if our national leaders were elected on the basis of tricky slogans, brass bands, and pretty girls, our country would be in a terrible mess now, wouldn't it? So,
so let me guess, the Penguin wins.
Well, we're not there yet, but he might. You don't know. It's really funny. So this, like, I like picturing that picture of Trump hugging the flag or whatever. The Penguin Party, it ran on mother, country, and the flag, to which the voters replied, "It's such a pleasure to hear plain honest talk from a candidate instead of the usual political mumbo jumbo." And so it's just crazy how easily the citizens of Gotham were fooled into voting for the Penguin.
The parallels, man, they run deep.
It was a tight race, and the polls actually had the Penguin up for pretty much the entire episode. And I showed that clip of the debate where the Penguin says, "Why does he wear a mask?" And it's funny because the way he spins it is, he says, every time you see Batman, he's surrounded by criminals and evildoers. When you see pictures of me, I'm always surrounded by the police. I support the police. I'm always with the police. I'm with the fine, upstanding people of this country or of this city. And so, and he's like, who do you think Batman's with? He's with all the criminals. And, but after a while, wackiness ensues. Batman ultimately wins, regardless of what the polls say. Batman says, "Smart politicians trust the voters, not the polls. After all, if you can't trust the voters, whom can you trust?" So,
and then he punches out the Penguin, right?
Yeah.
He decks him right on TV.
So it's funny because the polls were wrong in that episode. So you got to be careful with that kind of thing. But it's a really good episode. You should check it out. I think the Washington Post actually, in 2016, they ran an article about how similar the campaign for the Penguin and Trump were. So
I don't know that I'd vote for the Penguin, but I might cast a vote for Burgess Meredith. I love that guy.
Yeah,
he rules.
Burgess Meredith was amazing.
Change the topics real quick. Have you seen the shots of Colin Farrell as the Penguin for The Batman with Robert Pattinson?
No.
It's funny because they have him in such big makeup that he looks disheveled, and he basically just looks like Richard Kind. And it's like, why not just cast Richard Kind?
The Penguin is such an interesting character, and it's funny because when I was watching this, I kept thinking about Batman Returns, because the Penguin, obviously the Penguin comes from a wealthy political family in Gotham. They didn't really relate that in this TV show, but I thought it was cool how also, the Penguin was doing essentially the same thing in Batman Returns. Danny DeVito playing the Penguin, he was going around and campaigning for himself and, that kind of thing. So I thought it was neat how that part of the character was stayed true from the 66 show on. So
that's funny. Well, I did not remember that episode. I'm definitely going to have to check it out, especially for the parallels of the modern times. I've got another pick, but we're not even leaving the topic of Batman, because before you put this one down in our notes, I put down A Death in the Family. So I don't know if you remember this. I didn't get this one off the rack, but I remember this one and buying the back issues of it, where the Joker beats Robin of Batman and Robin quite significantly in battle. Now, this Robin is Jason Todd. For those who are not Batman aficionados, Dick Grayson was the very first Robin of Batman and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he smartly, DC, aged him out of the Teen Titans and of Batman being his ward, and he grew up to become Nightwing. So when he left to be Nightwing, DC decided they still needed a Robin character. So they brought in Jason Todd. Jason Todd had a very, very, very almost eerily similar background to Dick Grayson in that his family was acrobats and he had a lot of the same characteristics. But in this,
he also looked just like he almost looked identical to
yeah, he had like slightly reddish hair, but basically the same thing.
Yeah.
So he was pretty unpopular because he didn't bring anything new to the story of Batman. Fans also didn't think he was quite appreciative enough of being taken in as Ward and being shown the ways by Batman. And they were just like, look, this character isn't very nuanced. He sucks. And so because the character was so unpopular, the editor of Batman at the time, Denny O'Neil, was inspired to create a little voting campaign. Now, what's interesting is that the inspiration for this voting campaign was inspired by an SNL sketch with Eddie Murphy. And it was Eddie Murphy getting people to call in to vote whether or not Larry the lobster should be saved or should be boiled in a pot of water, should be killed. He thought this was a great idea. And so he had the same idea. Should Robin die at the hands of the Joker or should he live? So they had a phone campaign where for a period of 36 hours, they would allow calls to be made to vote whether he should live or die. It was 50 cents a minute for the phone call charge. And I'm surprised, I think if it's a run now, especially if we're online, you'd have a lot more votes.
Yes.
But there were only 10,614 votes total. And I got to say, it was pretty close. So 5,271 people voted for Robin to live. But 5,343 voted for Jason Todd to die. So he died. the end. Funnily enough, they actually drew two versions of the ending. And I wish I had thought to get you to show this one on screen, but there's a shot of Batman holding him, like his body, but he looks up and goes, he's alive! And then there's happy. 2 more frames, and then it's the end.
Yeah.
It was the cheesiest ending ever. So I appreciate that magazine, one, for getting some fan input, or comic for getting some fan input, but also for sticking to their guns and killing off a major character who remained dead for a very, very, very long time in terms of comics. And I didn't know this because this character came around after I had gotten out of comic books. But Jason Todd eventually, I don't even know how it is. Someone's going to have to school me. But he came back to life. And he is the character, the Red Hood.
So I can tell you how that happened.
All right, tell me how it happened.
All right, so I am not a DC person. I like some comic or some Batman stories when I was a kid. Hate Superman. I don't like aliens in comics, and mysticism, and so that chucks a lot of DC out the window. That's why I was never a big fan. But I really like the animated movies that DC makes. And in 2010, I think it came out. There is a movie that starts off with this part, and it is from oh gosh, I think it might be called Under the Red Hood or something like that. But anyways, it starts off where the Joker has Jason Todd, and Batman is trying to get there in time to save him. I don't remember if he beats him like he does in the comic book. I feel like there was an explosion and Batman finds stuff left over. But what they have ultimately done with him is the Joker essentially tortured him and brainwashed him into making him think that Batman failed him and that Batman was like doesn't appreciate, just like the fans didn't feel like Jason Todd appreciated Batman, that Batman didn't appreciate him. And so he kind of drove him crazy and drove him to become what he became. So
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad that there's a happy story in Jason Todd. Not that he turned out to be great, but that his character was revived for more popularity and more success than Jason Todd. So after Jason Todd, they had Tim Drake as Robin. I guess he's still Robin today. I don't know.
No, there's somebody else now. There was a girl.
For real?
There was a girl Robin. I think she's still Robin. Again, I don't watch DC stuff, but I know I've seen a statue of Batman and a girl Robin, and she has like a slingshot.
Oh, that was from the Frank Miller series.
Oh, okay. Whatever, mind.
I don't know if that's canon or not. I mean, like, it is, but I don't know where it falls in the scheme of things. I don't really read Batman that much. I'm not a great person. I did some research for this article. I will tell you one more thing that was interesting is that supposedly, I have not verified this, supposedly of those votes that were received by phone, they didn't limit how many times people could call.
Mm-hmm.
And so one guy supposedly rigged their phone to a computer and called and voted more than 100 times. So this one person may be responsible for the winning votes, because if this 100 votes were not cast, it would be it would be the other way for Jason Todd to survive. So who knows where comics history would be if we're not for a cheater scamming the system to make sure that their least favorite comic character died.
Man, think about how much that cost him, because like that phone call wasn't just like a press 1 for live and 2 for die. It was like, thank you for calling DC Comics. And like, it probably had like a 5-minute long recorded message,
Right.
that you had to listen to. But yeah, that's really interesting. I appreciate you bringing that up, Preston. So let's go back. So let's go back and talk about a little bit right before we end the show, and tell people again on how they can win those movies.
Oh yeah. So just a reminder, we are giving away a contest prize of 31 Nights of Fright from Movie Spree. And that's going to be 31 different scary movies that you can watch on moviespree.com. And we're asking our listeners to send us on social media a picture of your I voted sticker.
Mm-hmm.
Most states do this. If you're unable to send an I voted sticker, maybe a picture of yourself outside of your polling place or something like that. But send us that, and we'll pick at least 2 winners to win that at random, to win the 31 Nights of Fright from moviespree.com.
Cool. It's a great deal. I know the last giveaway that we did, where they gave away a collection like that, the person that won seemed pretty excited about it. So there was some great stuff in it. So, but yeah, definitely send us out. The way you can send those pictures to us, you got to hit me up at BE Grantham on Twitter. You can send a picture to the show at Wayback_attack. Preston, where can people find you?
You can hit me up on Twitter at Squared Stiff, and we even have reluctantly a Facebook account, Wayback Attack. But we also have our regular email, waybackattackshow@gmail.com, our website, waybackattackshow.com, and then we have a YouTube channel. So if you didn't catch the live stream on Twitch tonight, you can see the episode on YouTube on Wednesday following each show. And you can also, of course, check us out wherever great podcasts are found.
Yeah. So thank you again for tuning in tonight. Our next show is going to be our 1-year anniversary, and we have some exciting things lined up for that. So make sure that you come watch for that one. You can check it live, check it on YouTube, or check it in your ear holes. But make sure that you check it out. Thank you so much.
And remember to vote.
Oh, yes, vote.